I just waited in line, whatever. And I get up to the front and I go, so my son hit his head and he's bleeding. And all the nurses were like, so let's get you into a room. Like they immediately just like get out of the lobby, like go into the room.
You could have cut the line and it would have been okay.
I could have raised my hand when I got in there and been like, we have blood. And they would have been like, here you go.
Yeah. Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Raising Heights with Zach and Tori. I'm Zach.
I'm Tori.
And we are back.
Welcome. If you are here for the first time, we're so glad that you're here. Thank you for finding us. If you are coming back for another week, thanks for being here.
You're looking good.
Thanks.
If you're watching
got
video.
A tan.
Yeah, Tori's all tanned up.
Got some tan. I just got back from California last night, so I got a little bit of sunshine.
Got your hair done.
Got my hair. I cut off 4 inches, you guys.
Yeah.
I feel like a new woman. I got it 4 inches cut off and I got it colored. It's just all...
You're all dialed. Red.
Minnie Mouse nails, you know?
Yeah, you were all dialed for your Disney trip.
Yeah, I was. I had a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah. Peak and Pit?
Peak and Pit. I know what our pit is this week.
Oh.
It's kind of what we want to talk about today, though. So let's save it. Right?
Yeah, but it's kind of... You got to say it, though. What is the pit?
Well, let's save it. No, we're going to save it.
Okay,
we're going to make you guys hang around.
What's the peak?
Peak... I got back last night from Disneyland.
It's been a while since you've been to Disney.
Has it though? Doesn't feel like it, but it was very fun. It's been a while since I've done Disneyland like that.
Yeah.
Like stayed at the Grand California, did all the like character breakfasts and rides.
Have you ever been to Disney? This was kind of a work trip though too.
Well, okay. I got so much hate. I wasn't going to bring this up, but here we go. I got so much hate online for like going, but it technically was a work trip.
Why do you get hate?
And like, because like people just don't like to see
just
other
dumb internet?
Yeah, no, people just don't like to see other people have fun. Like,
got it. So
you know, and
legitimate.
I get so much garbage from like, oh, you don't take your kids, and like our kids would not have thrived on that trip. Like we were out until midnight, and
it was a specific reason.
And we went with a brand which we went with Albion Fit, and I have known Liz for like...
Tori's been wearing Albion Fit since I met her.
Literally since I met you. That's when I like first found her, is our family trip to Hawaii.
Fact check that though.
No, 100%. It was in Hawaii.
We met in 2010 though.
Yeah, so it was like 2000... I probably met her, or I probably found Albion in like 2012 or 13.
Okay. You get the point though.
It's been a long time. I've known Liz, and her brand is... amazing. I love Albion. I'm like their number one fan. Zach can vouch for me. I literally
vouch,
like
actually. No,
I buy my girlfriends her suits all the time.
This is not
like,
a paid ad either. Tori has talked about Albion for as long as I can remember, and I remember her point out other girls, and you used to actively tell me like, man, Albion's getting really big. Like
I know.
I see more and more girls with Albion Fit, blah blah blah.
I've just been like I've been Albion Fit's number one fan for a long time.
That's kind of cool though.
And so I was so honored that I was included on a trip like this. Like it was so far out of my comfort zone. I think we should talk about this. And this is like
just riff.
We're just going into it. But I think that we've kind of touched on it before, but when I met Zach, I was kind of thrusted into this spotlight. You were on this reality television show as your first girlfriend. It was a very interesting topic for people to tune in and like, what's Zach doing? And I was kind of thrusted into it, and we kind of held back for a long time because I was really nervous that I was like, if we broke up, I was going to be the villain forever, you know. And we didn't break up, thank goodness, but I feel like I was kind of thrusted into this spotlight, and I've been given this opportunity to have people that follow us and look up to us, and I want to be a light for those people, and I want to do good by those people. And so going on a trip like this was really out of my comfort zone, because I love documenting our lives. I love taking photos of you and the kids and our family, and I'm always behind the scenes, but this kind of trip is like about me, and that put me out of my comfort zone a lot. And the girls that I went with are just these like super entrepreneurial, beautiful women who know what they want to do. And they're all like, they're great at content creating and doing things on social media. And it was just so far out of my comfort zone. So I kept on asking like, how the heck did I get invited on this trip? Like, why am I here?
Yeah.
I just had fun. I just tried to enjoy it, and
I think you did good, but it's also it can be tough sometimes when like social media, it doesn't maybe come natural to you, but then like when you are kind of in a situation where if you're not in the mood, it doesn't matter. You're on. It's same thing with doing the show. There's days when they had filming days, and it was like that. It's reality. I'm quotation marks if you're listening, okay? But it's a film day, so it kind of, if you're not in the mood or your feelings or whatever, it doesn't. You kind of have to film. Same thing with that. So social media, if it doesn't quite come natural to you, and now but you're on this trip for that reason, so it's kind of like, and then all of a sudden this feels weird because you kind of have to be in the vibe,
And I think as women,
which is nothing wrong with that. Like you got a great trip out of all of that. So slight inconvenience with maybe
and like stepping out of your comfort zone, I think is really important as a human, just to grow. And I think that I can sometimes get in my head with relationships, and like I'm a very independent person. I don't need a lot of like help. I don't need a lot of extra stuff, and going on a trip like this with a bunch of women, that can sometimes be really off-putting. And so it's like, as a girl, I'm trying to be like, I just want to like be inclusive, and I want to like make sure everyone feels good and everyone's having fun, and so it put me out of my comfort zone a little bit.
Tori could be a little bit of a black sheep.
A little bit. Well, and the roll-off in you has 100% rubbed off on me. Yeah. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No, elaborate.
You don't know?
I maybe do, but I want to hear it.
What's your idea?
No, elaborate.
What is it called? The Irish exit? Do you know what that is?
Oh, where you just leave?
Where you just leave. Where you just get uncomfortable or something happens, you just walk away. And that 100% has rubbed off on me. Yeah. Like things will just start happening that I'm like, oh, this is getting weird. I'll just walk away. Yeah. People don't like that though.
No, yeah, but it's the way to go.
It's the way to go. Funny. But like to go on a trip with with people that you don't know and situation, like it's hard not to do an Irish exit sometimes.
I don't know what an Irish exit is, but I've shown Tori that it does not take 20 minutes to leave. You can just simply leave.
Which literally
just walk out the door.
When I'm with my people,
when we go to parties, I'll go to the owner of the house, shake his hand or her hand. Thanks for having us. Bye. Like, literally, it's so easy. There's one person you actually need to say bye to. Yeah. And then you just leave. Like, easy. Okay.
I can't do that with my people. I still take 7 hours to say goodbye.
I get annoyed because Tori will be like, should we leave? Yeah. But, okay.
Then
and
then she looks at me.
No. You tell me when we're leaving, okay? Because I know how this works. Like, like okay, hour later, like I will get up when we're actually about to leave. Yeah.
But I think that, again, it's like making friendships in adulthood is hard, and like this trip, these women were so fun. I had so much fun with these girls, and there wasn't like a single girl there that like was an outlier, and like all of us had so much fun together. But sometimes in adulthood you do come into these groups where you don't vibe with people, and it's hard as an adult to like make those relationships and foster good.
But you vibed with everyone. It was a great trip. It
was so much fun. And like
but now you can't wait to bring the kids back.
I have been wanting to meet Bella, especially. Like I've been wanting to meet her, and she just was everything I thought she would be. And Haley was such a vibe. She's a videographer, so like nerding out with her about cameras and stuff was so much fun. And meeting Liz was a highlight. So that was definitely my peak. It was a fantastic 3 days.
Love it.
But then I also am so grateful that you let me sleep in this morning. Yeah. What was your peak?
My peak, I had a great time with the kids. Mm-hmm. And yeah, we had a great time. You were gone. You were gone was not the peak. But you got...
Could have been.
Yeah, no, you left though. But then the peak was I did not feel tired. I woke up this morning, got the kids, Jackson to school.
Coffee.
But you get my point though? Like I didn't feel like, oh man, I need like a minute or something.
Right.
Like it wasn't a exhausting 3 days.
Yeah. Well, I feel like that kind of leads us in, because I feel like the good Lord knew that we needed some energy last night. Oh, because Zach felt good, thank goodness. I came home. I was home for maybe an hour.
Yep.
we had just eaten dinner and we were having so much fun, like just catching up. The kids are playing soccer with Zach and our front entryway is kind of nice because it's very spacious, and so there's tons of room to play.
Open
and
floor
like
plan.
Yeah, open floor plan. And so they were playing soccer, and what happened?
Yeah, we were just playing soccer. We were having a great time. Lila's turned into quite the little soccer player. Jackson, we're just playing, having a great time. But then Jackson slipped on the rug.
Or he went a little too hard.
He went
trying to save a ball.
Yeah, slipped on the rug.
And slammed right into the arm of one of our chairs.
Yeah, the corner of one of our chairs.
And like the chairs that are in our entryway, they're pretty like they're cushioned. They're like, I've never really thought of those chairs as like, I've always thought of like the hearth. They're gonna hit their head on the hearth, or they're gonna hit their head on the coffee table, or those have always been my like scary, don't play around those things.
Yeah.
But I never once thought these chairs would ever be an issue.
And there's exposed wood on that. He literally hit the worst spot on the chair.
And it's like it was a corner.
Yeah. Split his head
open.
open.
He went for this ball, and so he fell backwards into this chair, and it split open the back of his head.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Bad.
Yeah.
So 20 minutes later.
I'm home for an hour.
Yeah.
And then that happens. And I'm like, okay, well, we have to go to urgent care because we should talk about how we respond.
Yeah, Tori's gotten way better since
Thanks, babe.
we've met. Okay, she responded brilliantly. Tori has a problem. Not a problem.
It's
Tori
a problem.
has this way.
It's a problem.
She expresses so much concern and anxiety and fear onto our kids when they get hurt. She'll go, gasp, and like,
or it's like, oh my gosh, like every time I say, oh my gosh, our kids are like,
and makes her feelings the dominant feelings. The kids are looking right at her, so then they proceed to cry, get scared, whatever else. She's gotten a lot better at being calm. It's all about how you're projecting yourself to your kids in that scenario right there. Not about you, not about how you feel. It's not about how you feel and expressing how you feel. It's about, in my opinion, the child and how they feel, and how are you portraying, what feelings should you be betraying to them in those situations? They are scary, and he legitimately could be hurt.
Yeah.
This is not the time to be gasping and concerned about other things, really, like how you feel about it. It's like, so it's get focused, and it helps the child stay calm. You can,
100%
help it.
I feel like you almost panicked last night.
I did not panic.
He almost did, you guys. He almost did. Because head injuries, don't know if you know about this. Head injuries, there's a lot of blood.
Yeah, there's a lot of
blood.
There's
just a lot of I think nerve endings or something.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of blood
vessels.
anywhere. This was a solid cut.
But it was like almost 2 inches.
I didn't panic. I saw a lot of blood coming out. Okay.
He but also I think Jackson touched it and it was all over his hand, and that's when we were like, oh, wait a minute.
Yeah. No, but it was also, okay, let's get in. I was like, all right, he's bleeding. Where does he need to go? What do we need to do here? So I was like, hey, let's get into the bathroom. I was very intentional about it. Like, you're on the rug.
Maybe that's what it was.
Yeah,
you
that's
moved
the thing.
him to another
Your
space, and I was
there. Like Lila and Josiah are like, let's walk around in the blood. No,
right.
Let's isolate the blood into the bathroom. Isolate the siblings away. So it's like, that's the thing. Like, what maybe appeared like I was very like, no solutions. Go here. Yeah. Let's find a towel.
And I do feel like we worked really well together last night because it was. You took him into the bathroom. I ran and got something to put a compression on his head to stop the bleeding, and we met up back in the middle. But the thing about Jackson is he never cries.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, I feel like never is a very strong word, but I feel like it's an accurate portrayal of him.
He's not a big
He doesn't
crier.
cry. He doesn't cry. Like, even when he's injured, he kind of whimpers, and it's like the most heartbreaking, soul crushing sound. But even during this whole experience, he didn't cry. Like, he literally he started getting a little whimpered, and I was like, and so I felt like that helped keep me calm. I don't know about you, but he stayed conscious the whole time. He was very calm about it. And it wasn't until he saw the blood that he kind of had a whimper in his voice, right?
Yeah.
Would you agree?
And I feel like it started to sting too.
Yeah.
So anyway, you go to the urgent care.
So then I get him in the bathroom, and I go, okay, I looked at it, and I'm a pretty squeamish person. I've come a long way, but I
Yeah.
looked in the bathroom and it already kind of looked like it was clotting. And so then I kind of second guessed myself and I was like, well, does he need to go to urgent care? I ended up calling a family friend who is just very calm in these situations. And I turned the camera around to them and they both go, so you need to go to urgent care.
Yeah.
Like very calm, but they were both just like, put him in the car, take him to urgent care. But it was mostly just for like cleaning it up. And then also you want it to heal properly so he didn't have like a bald spot in the back of his head.
Yeah,
But
that was interesting. You might like, who knows? We were both pretty convinced he's going to need staples or stitches.
yeah.
But at the time, it was take him to urgent care, not just for that, but also they clean it properly.
Clean it better,
and
all the things.
You can have a bald spot if it doesn't heal right.
Yeah.
So
put him in the car. I drove him to urgent care and it was just like hard because again, he doesn't cry a lot, and I was trying to stay calm and just talk him through everything. Like it's all going to be fine. They're just going to clean it up. They're going to look at it, make sure you're good. But he kept asking questions like, are we going to go? Like, because Zachary had brain surgery last year and he knows exactly what that looks like on the head because Zach had what, like 13 staples in your head?
Yeah, 8 or 13.
Yeah. I think it was like 13.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure it was 13.
Ouch. That hurts just thinking about it.
But so he was like asking all these questions like, am I going to the same doctor that Dad went to?
Yeah,
and
are we going to the hospital up the hill?
on the hill? And it was like, and he was trying not to cry and get nervous. And I'm like, dude, it's going to be fine. And I kept saying, it's probably just they're going to clean it and that's all. They're just going to make sure it's fine. I kept on like, best case scenario, they're not going to do anything. So we get to urgent care. He's actually acting totally fine. Totally fine. The check-in was kind of funny because he had this rag on the back of his head and there's these two guys checking in for an appointment because the place that we go to, they also do just like appointments. But there's two guys checking in for an appointment. And he's just standing there with this towel in his head. And I'm like, well, he's not crying. He's not freaking out. So I'm like, fine. I'm not going to panic.
Wait in line.
I just waited in line, whatever. And I get up to the front and I go, so my son hit his head and he's bleeding. And all the nurses were like, so let's get you into a room. Like they immediately just like get out of the lobby, like go into a room. But he was fine. He was like talking through the whole thing. They put a little cotton swab on the back so he didn't get.
You could have cut the line and it, but okay.
I could have raised my hand when I got in there and been like, we have blood. And they would have been like, here you go.
Yeah.
But he was just like so calm during it. And I was trying not to panic him. I was trying not to panic myself. But we get into the room and he's like totally fine. He's reenacting. I should like put the video. He's like reenacting what happened. And we're working really hard right now with Jackson with like being respectful to adults and like talking to them. And when an adult says something to you, you need to be respectful and respond. And he did that with all the doctors. Like he told the doctors the story.
That is something we've been working on parenting wise.
Yeah. But it wasn't until they started and they numbed it so he couldn't feel anything, which was great.
I know. Ouch. This hurts.
But it wasn't until they put the staples in that he cried. And I cried because I like just can't handle watching him be in pain. And he had to get 3 staples.
But he was so tough though.
Oh, so tough.
Like
for
he
a
didn't
7-year-old,
freak out. He didn't panic.
not one time. And even so he had to get 3 staples and he was on my lap and I was like kind of holding him while the nurses did the staples and they did 1 and I could just hear him kind of start whimpering and then 2 and then he started crying and we like paused and I was like, are you okay? Like, how are you feeling? And he goes, it hurts a little. And then they did number 3 and that's when he just like let it out. Like number 3, he was just like, it hurt and I like, can we go home and are they done? But then I started crying and
then obviously they had to go out for ice cream.
And then obviously I had to get him a Dairy Queen on the way home. And he was fine after that. Like we got home and he was like,
I just like to point out 0 children went to the urgent care when you were gone.
I know. It's so, but I feel like this happens every time I come home.
Yeah.
Like every time I come home from a trip, it's either you or it's the kids. Someone's sick, someone's injured, someone needs something, and I have to go deal with it, you know.
And
but
then we're just so excited to have our mom back.
I know. It was just like hard too because you guys were having so much fun.
Yeah.
And it was just such a freak dumb accident. Like it was just.
Well, now he can't practice.
So you should tell him what's coming up on Friday. So tomorrow is Friday, and the nurse said, give it like 5 days. Like head injuries actually heal pretty quickly. Give it like 5 days. But what's on Friday?
We have a game and
that's so boring. Yeah. What happens on Friday, babe?
There's just a big game. There's a competitive game.
You're so lame. You're so lame. Can I tell? This is how it should go.
Was he not playing?
On Friday.
Is he not playing?
The biggest game of the year. We've been talking about this game all season. It's on Friday. There you go. Okay, what?
I don't think he can play.
I don't think he can play. Well, we'll play it by ear. We have practice tonight. He's gonna sit out practice tonight for sure.
Yeah.
I haven't looked at it today because I slept in. So sorry, but we'll look at it today and see how it's healing.
Got it. Yeah. So that will be a bummer.
You're so boring.
Well, I don't want to.
He's been so dramatic about that. I don't want to what.
I just don't want to incriminate us. Like,
it's just gonna be a good game. Our team, we're humble about this, but our team can sometimes it's like a lot to a little.
Yeah.
Our team being the lot.
Our team's pretty good. Our rec team's pretty
and
good.
And like this team that's on Friday is actually
it's another team that's pretty good. So it would have been and he missed this game last year. You guys were at Disneyland.
Oh,
so it would have been cool. It would have been cool for if he could play, but I don't know, just we don't
want to risk him getting the nurse was very nonchalant about it because she didn't even bring up what he can't do. I asked and she was like, well, maybe this weekend, like just don't play sports, but then he'll be fine.
Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see how he does. We'll see how he's feeling and everything.
Yeah.
It's just a game though, so it's not
But I think he's gonna be pretty bummed about it.
Oh,
we're gonna go to practice. I don't usually go to practice because Zach's coach, but tonight
Yeah.
I'm gonna go just to for moral support.
Yeah, no, he'll be great. He'll be great. Yeah, but that was a bummer, him getting hurt and not. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm curious. Growing up, because I feel like injuries happened at your place all the time. Not necessarily to you guys, like the Roloffs, but like to your friends. That people would come to the farm or somebody. Like there's been episodes that have happened that people get injured.
Mike Detchen.
Yeah, like Jacob, like head.
Yeah, Jacob's head, Mike
injury.
Detchen in the trebuchet, and then
So how did your parents, how did your mom react to those scenarios? Like,
oh,
was she
my
very
mom was.
calm?
Oh yeah, I always remember my mom being my mom and dad fairly calm, and this is what we need to do, and let's go, and yeah, I think both of them were always very. What's the solution? Are we hurt? Are we sometimes maybe you need to go to the hospital. Nah, we're good.
Oh
Put some ice on it.
So true. So true. But I could see your mom
it was a different parenting. Okay, it was a different.
Well, also back then it was like a 25-minute drive to the hospital.
Yeah.
And whoa, 25 minutes. That's a long ways.
Yeah. So.
But I could also see your mom though. She's not afraid of blood and guts. Like I feel like she would dive in there for her kids, and any sort of injury that happened, she would head on take it under control.
No, they're very my mom and dad, I would say, are very in those scenarios are very solution oriented based. They immediately, what's the solution? What do we need to do? Assess how much of an emergency is this? It's not, they don't, they're not big on their feelings, they're not this is the time for me to express how icky this is or whatever. Okay. It was, growing up. So we had a couple accidents though, but if anything, it was all probably an annoyance. When we, now we have to go to the hospital.
To go 25 minutes to the hospital.
We didn't go to the hospital that much though. That's the thing. I had my shunt stuff or whatever, but we didn't have that many accidents.
Which
and if our friends got hurt, they called their parents and said, come pick up your kid.
It's your issue.
He might have broken his arm. I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
Come get a pickup.
But I feel like that is that's one of the things. I don't know. With the shunt, I can remember your mom telling stories because I think maybe this day and age, we go to the doctor for a paper cut.
Oh yeah, no, it's ridiculous.
Us growing up, I can't remember one time going to urgent care.
No, we've gone to the urgent. Yeah. I have my stuff going on, but then also
so that was my point is your mom has told me stories about when you were an infant and how much you would throw up and daily happenings of Zach is dizzy and cross-eyed and throwing up. And I'm just and you didn't go to the doctors?
No, looking back for sure. I went a week. I remember one time it just absolutely.
Which was when you needed shunt revision,
yeah,
right?
And I remember collapsing in the hallway.
Oh my God.
And Jacob was home from school for some reason. And Papa and Honey, I think, were watching us at the time. And then I'm like, go get Papa. In the hallway, probably laying on my own vomit, you know, and then Jacob runs out there, and I remember that was like, all right, we need to go to the ER, you know. That was probably a little bit more. My mom was a little bit more like my dad was probably pretty quicker to be like, let's go to the doctor, let's just, you know, get something fixed up and then we'll be done with it, you know what I'm saying. My mom was probably like, no, you're just sick, or drink some water. My mom's your classic 90s mom. Okay, 100%. Drink water.
Rub some dirt on it.
Yeah, drink water, rest, lay down, drink water, Have you been drinking water?
I think that...
Are you drinking enough water?
I think that our generation needs a little bit more of that, though, because we're so quick to be like, go to the doctor. But in reality, sometimes it's like, just go to bed. Just go take a nap and see how you wake up.
Turns out I did have a shunt issue, though. Okay.
There's no right answer. If you're nonchalant about it.
In my mom's defense, I went to the urgent care all the time since we've been married, okay?
All the time.
And they never fixed me. So then finally I said, I'm not going here anymore because this is a waste of money. Yeah. Okay. Then one day it really got bad and I took myself to the hospital. Which that's
also a false statement. Don't listen to him. Every time he got sick, he's like, I'm just going to go get an IV really quick at the urgent care.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying, but they never found like a solution.
I know.
Or like what is causing this.
We had to be very persistent.
I went to a bunch of different people, had a bunch of different sleep studies and everything. So it was a little bit of a like, all right, now this is getting kind of spendy, you know. You know, so.
But I think that like.
That is the problem. Okay, that's a rant though, but healthcare is spendy.
Oh my gosh, we don't need to do that.
Yeah, healthcare is outrageous, especially for us. Okay, if you don't have a group plan or your company doesn't give you health insurance, or if you don't have Medicaid, I've never had it, so I don't know. But we're like in the middle spot of like, we have to go through the open marketplace. Yeah. We don't have a group plan. That, what I've observed, is the worst packages. Those are the most expensive. They're the most expensive.
With the least coverage.
With the least coverage, it's madness. So
madness.
It's the open marketplace health insurance area. So yeah, not Medicaid necessarily, and not you don't
Medicare.
Have Medicare, whatever. But then it's not like some corporation plan. It's this middle area that is the absolute worst.
It's the worst, and it's. Oh. We don't need to go into Medicare. That's a whole other beast. But
healthcare needs.
Can you remember overhaul. Do you remember whether it was you or someone else? What was like the worst accident that ever happened in your presence?
Yeah. Oh, the Mike Detchen trebuchet for sure. Oh. Yeah. The Jacob Mike Detchen.
He got like stuck underneath the trebuchet or something like that.
Yeah. If you watch back on the episode, the biggest accident I've ever witnessed for sure that I can think of right on the top of my head here was the Mike Detchen. I was standing right there when the trebuchet and Jacob, like, so that's the thing. Even at the time, we all called it the Mike Detchen accident because we all thought he was just gone. Turns out Jacob actually he got his head nicked. And he had like a trickle of blood coming down. Mike goes in the first hospital or the first ambulance, but then they get Jacob to the hospital, and it was like, you're actually the one that like you hit something on your skull here.
Didn't he have to have surgery?
I think so. Yeah, I think something that they're like, you're actually, this guy's just bruised up and bleeding. Your
skull, like a piece of his skull.
We gotta look at this here, dude. You know, he's got nicked right by his eye. But no, that for sure was the biggest. And at the time, you had fans, pumpkin season, cameras.
Filming.
So you had a lot of eyes on you, a lot of pressure, a lot of that. You know, I was a kid, but that was probably one of the bigger accidents I've ever seen.
Scary. I feel like that, like filming, that would bring a whole other. I couldn't imagine having like accidents. Like we've had accidents happen while we're filming, but adding filming onto anything is always an extra pressure.
No, totally. Yeah. Because you get insecure. And also you just feel like you can't just express whatever you want to express. And like, yeah, you have a lot of eyes on you.
Maybe that's why maybe it's honestly helped me. Because it's like, it's not about you. It's not about, because I think that I definitely am guilty of that, of like how I feel. You know, in those scenarios. And it's not even happening to me.
You feel the need to express how you feel.
Oh, and
how you feel is irrelevant right now. It's irrelevant.
Like sit down and like...
Yeah, sit down.
Help out whoever, you know, and I think that
Or step away and let the other people do their work.
And I think having kids for myself has has helped me in that scenario, because I think that I can be selfish with that. Like,
well, kids just look at you for a reaction, and if you react
Mm-hmm.
negatively, and then that encourages them to react not negatively, but like start crying, freaking out, whatever. Now, like, that's actually not helping the situation.
100%.
And it's making the situation seem now or like muddled, basically
Right.
chaotic. You can't get a clear picture. They can't
100%.
communicate now because they're hysterical. So it's all like,
And I feel like teaching helped me a lot with that, because there were times in teaching that things happen that you're like, you have 27 kids looking at you, and
Yeah.
how you react is really, can I tell this like field trip story?
Yeah.
So I feel like this honestly shaped my motherhood journey. Okay.
Yep.
So when I taught,
I
do you know what I'm
remember
going to
this.
tell?
Yeah.
So when I first started teaching, I taught kindergarten. I was not a mom. How old are you when you graduate? 22.
Yeah,
You know, I got a
23,
job
yeah.
like right out of college, and I was teaching, and, you know, so I'm not a mom, no experience of motherhood, maternal instincts, none of that. But we went to a pumpkin patch one year, and, you could take chaperones. So there's a ton of moms with me, but it's me and 27 kindergartners and like 6 moms. And I had one little boy who was doing cartwheels in a field, and he was kind of a stinker, but, you know, it was like,
Yep.
we're on a field trip, whatever. And I think that he injured his arm out in this field.
Yep.
Because he's very outgoing and talkative, and he was kind of quiet that day. Like, he kind of sat on and so I just kept watching him, and I'm like, you know, I feel like you hurt your arm. Like, are you okay? Whatever. And he just kept saying, I'm fine. And whatever. So fast forward to the end of this field trip, they're playing on this play structure, and it was right down the road from the farm. It was a very large play structure, and there's 5 and 6-year-olds, you know?
Yep.
And this one little boy fell from the play structure, and he fell onto his arm, of course.
Yep.
And he snapped his arm in half, basically. Okay. Like, I still think about it. He gets up and he holds up his arm. It's literally in an S shape.
Yeah, that's no thanks.
Oh my gosh. And so all of a sudden, it goes from these 6 or 7 moms and all of these kids looking to me. What do we do?
Yeah, that's incredible.
What do we do? Like, this kid's arm is in an S shape, and he's not panicking. He's very calm. Like, he was clearly in shock from what had happened. And I just scooped him up into my hands, and I like tried not to look at it, because I'm almost ready to pass out. No joke. Like, getting lightheaded, dizzy, kind of spinning. And all of these moms are, what do we do? What do we do? And I'm like, what do you do? Like, what do we do? I don't know what we do.
Yeah, you're the mom.
And I start panicking, I stay
Not
calm.
panicking. You
But
did
in
not
my
panic at
head,
the
I'm
time.
like, I feel like you should be telling me what to do, because
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But luckily, and like, when you're a teacher, they tell you not to call 911. Like, that's like the last thing that you do, which also
Really?
you have to tell that story about, that'll be the next. But when you're a teacher, they do encourage you, unless it's like an emergency, do not call 911, because sometimes parents don't want that. Like,
Back to the health insurance.
who
being
knows? Yeah,
expensive.
and I don't know in that scenario anyway. But this poor little kid sits down on the curb, and we're all trying to kind of like get some ice and like, don't move the arm, and call his mom. Where's the emergency sheet and all this stuff? And he looks like he's about to pass out, because he's just in shock, and he goes white in the face and starts like doing this. And so I just call 911. Don't care. Can't get a hold of mom. Can't get a hold of dad. Call 911.
Yeah.
And so that was the first time I ever rode in an ambulance, was this poor little
rode
kid.
in the ambulance?
Because his parents weren't there. So I rode in the ambulance with him. All of my kids, they had to go with the other classes that were there. It was a whole ordeal, but I really do feel like that shaped how I handle situations, because I had to be the one that was like calm and like, okay, this is what we're going to do. This is our plan. Thank the Lord above. Our principal at that school was amazing.
Yep.
And she stepped in for me, and like, she kind of came into it and was like the mother. So I kind of like, once I got into the ambulance, she stepped in, and then I could kind of be like, holy, okay.
Yeah.
Whew, all right, I did my job. I'm not paid enough for this. Got time to go home, you know.
Man, that's incredible.
But okay, now tell the story about your thumb.
Oh yeah, my thumb dislocated. We were at a friend's house, and I ran back to the car. Right?
So it was raining.
Yeah, it was raining, but they had a really steep driveway.
Really steep.
And I ran back to the car, and I like come down the driveway, but then like take a left onto the sidewalk, and I slipped. I slipped on the sidewalk. So the sidewalk is flat, but the driveway is at an angle, and my thumb. So I'm standing on flat ground, but my hand comes down on the angled driveway, and my thumb dislocates.
Honestly, that was worse than that kid's arm.
Yeah.
That was. So Zach, we're there for 30 seconds, you guys. We're going to this birthday party. We open the door and I go, shoot, Zach, we forgot the present in the car. Yeah. And that's why he was running back to the car to grab it.
Yeah.
I don't even know if we got in the door, but all of a sudden you come around the corner and you're holding up your hand like this,
it's bleeding.
And your thumb is over here. So for those listening, his thumb is literally at a 90-degree angle from his hand.
Yeah. Bad.
And I panicked on that one. I fully lost my mind on that one.
Yeah. I stumbled into this house. What did I ask?
You literally ran. Is there a doctor in here?
No, I like crawled on the ground and I'm like, ow. Like all these family, I don't know half these people. And there's like multiple things. God. Why is this dwarf laying on the ground here, or why is Zach Roloff at this house, right? Like all these random people.
Gosh, so
like
true.
Besides the people we already knew, there's many questions. People
why
are like,
is Zach
who is this?
Here?
What is happening right now?
Why is there a dwarf standing at my door?
Like, and why is he on the ground? Like, do we know this person?
But you also ran into the park. So like I feel like I was like, okay, hold on, what do we do here? But then you shot up and ran in, and that's what sent me into a tizzy, because I'm like, Zach's running into this party.
I thought the pain was gonna. I've never broken an arm like that, so I thought it was gonna like hit me. Like, so I'm like, I need to get somewhere where if this starts hurting bad, I need to sit down here.
Well, and then also it was a birthday party, and it was my best friend's house, and she's like, let me drive you to the hospital. Let me take your kids. Let me do this. And I was at this point where I'm like, this is your child's birthday. Yeah. We're gonna leave. We're gonna get the car. We're and mortified. Leave.
Yeah. Looking back, it was mortifying.
It was mortifying. Yeah. It was so scary.
Tori gets in the car and she calls the hospital with an emergency room, and
I did not ask if they were open. Zach keeps saying, was it open? No, I called because we were driving to this hospital and I didn't know if they had an emergency department. Like, I didn't know if there was an emergency room there.
It was a hospital, major hospital.
It was a major hospital. But in my mind, I'm like, do they even have an emergency? Can they even handle this? You know, but this is a huge issue. When really,
I want to go back real quick. I went into the house and asked for a nurse or doctor because I was like, maybe there's someone here that can snap this back into place.
No, hold on though,
what?
Because I think we were a bunch of knuckleheads in that situation. We thought you broke your, like, it didn't even cross my mind that you dislocated it. It didn't even cross my mind that you could dislocate a finger. And so I'm like, you fully snapped your thumb off and it's just hanging on by a thread. That was in my mind.
I was like, this could just be dislocated and maybe they can snap it back in and it won't hurt so bad. You know what I'm saying? So I guess my thought process was like, if there's a nurse or a doctor or someone that knows, maybe they can just feel it and like get it back in there, you know? And while the adrenaline is pumping through me, it won't, you know, I could just do it, you know. Do it. But anyway, we get to the emergency room.
So then also like in the car, I'm like, who can I call to come be with my friends? And our like really good friend, family friend was there. I don't know if they had moved yet anyway, Kylie was there, and Kylie is like 21 years old. Like, she's still a child. And Kylie's calming me down. Like, so she came to pick up our kids so that I could focus on you.
Yeah, she did. Yeah.
Because she came to the hospital to like pick everyone up, and she's the calm one. And I'm like, Kylie, what do I do in this scenario? Like, how do I do this? In my
defense, though, I'm very good at telling you, even though you don't listen. Don't worry about me. Just drop me off at this steps here, okay?
Which I did. I dropped you off.
Worry about the kids, get the kids food or whatever. Like, go deal with that, you know, and like, I'll be fine. Okay. Like,
that was the worst. Yeah. But then we went in, that was one of those times, a lot of like our urgent care that's here in Battleground is very easy. You're in and out in 30 minutes. Yeah. But when you go to an emergency room, you could sit there for 3 hours.
Yeah.
And Zach couldn't pull the whole, I have a shunt and a headache, so like put me at the front of the line.
Yeah, no.
They literally looked at his arm. You're not dying. And we sat there for 3 hours.
Yeah, it was
We sat there forever.
Which is normal though.
Which is normal.
You're not dying. You're fine. Yes, you need to get this
We're in
checked out, but like,
it's so funny though, because in my head when we were driving, he is dead.
Yeah.
Like Zach is gone. Like, you know, that was my thought. And then you get there and they're like, well,
emergency room humbles you real quick.
So quick.
They'll tell you if you're dying or not. They'll tell you. They you aren't the most important person in the room right now.
And
okay?
those snap you back into reality so fast. But that whole thumb incident is also just another really like.
Can I do a little bit of a rant?
Yes,
not a
go
rant,
for it.
but just kind of almost wrap this up. Are we wrapping up?
Yeah.
In these situations, it does show you what's actually important in life.
Amen.
And my theory, this is a little bit of a stretch, but like facts over feelings, right? What is the most important, right? In those scenarios of like not life and death, but like danger or hurt or emergencies. Facts. What do you need to do? Where do you need to go?
Yeah.
Where's the car, keys? What's not important? Feelings.
Yeah. Yeah.
Your feelings, my feelings, anyone's feelings.
100%.
But then we decide so many things in our society and everything based off of feelings and how we feel and how it would make us feel. I want to be happy. I want to feel this. But in emergency situations, you know, so then
feelings
it just
don't matter.
in the grand scheme of like life and the world and everything, what is important and what should we be? Because in our most crisis moments, we look to the facts to get what we need, you know? So why do we look to feelings for all these other things?
Yeah, 100%.
Do you get my point?
Babe.
I'm
100%.
I'm not a philosopher here.
Yeah.
So I'm saying it a little rough.
Yeah.
But like,
no, I get that though. Like it puts things into perspective of what is important.
There, but then also like other countries or whatever, other people that have lesser scenarios that don't have the luxury to look to decide
feelings.
off their feelings. You know what I'm saying? They like have to look at the facts because it's a life and death situation.
100%.
Food or water that day, shelter, you know what I'm saying? But then like
We're soft
our
as a society in that
we
way.
so are like, this hurt my feelings, this and that. And it's like, but it just shows you like, we speak our privilege when we do that.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? And we don't always point that out.
Yeah.
Because it's like,
well, and I think a lesson in all of this too for myself, like with Jackson getting injured, you know, I think that like social media and doing things for yourself are like going on a trip. That's important for yourself. Like I think it's important to like pour into yourself, you know. But then like when I have this whole thing that's all about me and I'm sitting here like, what's it like, how do I be better at this, and how do I portray myself better here, and how do I make this content and do that and blah 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 blah. But then I come home and my child gets injured. Yeah. It's a reality check for myself as well. You know, is this idea that, you know, that's what is important, is my family's health and my family's well-being. As fun as this is, and as much as work and things are important, it does snap you back into reality. Totally. When like your kids get hurt, when your husband gets hurt. Yeah. Of like, God really does provide, and I just need to be grateful for you and for our kids and for our family.
What is actually important? What's
actually important? You know,
the list gets real small when you just look at it that way.
Yeah, and I think that last night was definitely that for me. Was, you know, just and honestly, as this might sound terrible, but just getting the opportunity to sit in that room with my son alone last night was actually a gift. Like, and he was fine. And so it was like, it was nice to just sit and have a conversation with him and like not be interrupted by anyone else. And
some of that is why, like, I feel like sometimes accidents happen when one of us comes home from a trip, because our kids are so excited to see us, but then they're competing for attention. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah,
they were great and we were very attentive to them. And no one was being naughty. But no one's being naughty, but it's they're all kind of wound up because they all kind of want that attention. Yeah. They're all competing, and so you did got that opportunity to have that one-on-one.
And it's unfortunate that he has to get hurt for that to happen. Yeah. But I think that it's a really good reminder to make time, make time with your kids, and so you're not in an urgent care having a conversation with your son, but it's like, you know, you're taking time to just be with each other, and that's what's important, and enjoying each other while your health is good and everyone is no broken thumbs, no broken heads, no like, whatever it is. It's important to just spend time with your family and be together. And everything else is it's just noise, I think for me personally, I'm in this season of life where I'm trying to work really hard, and I'm trying to like hustle and do all these things outside the home. And I do feel like sometimes it is God's way of just being like, Tori, you're doing too much. Like you're trying too hard, like it is sometimes step back and focus on what's important. And that's you guys.
Love it.
I love my family because you guys are so cute.
We love you. All right.
That was fun though.
Yeah,
that was a good
fun.
one. No more injuries though, please. I'm good with the injuries. No more of that.
No, let's get Jackson from school and let's see how he's feeling.
Oh gosh, that poor head.
Because I would be cool if he can play, but I also don't want.
Oh my gosh, Zachary. It's one game.
No, that's what I'm saying. You're the one that's like saying
it's one game.
I 100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't wait to talk about it next week. That's what. Hey, tune back in next week. It'll be a soccer episode, okay?
No.
Hey, these are my favorite. Guys, I need you to listen to the soccer episodes, okay? There are worse rated episodes, and it kills me, okay?
Oh
Even if you just have it on. You don't have to listen, okay?
Zachary, stop.
Boost the ratings for the soccer episodes, okay?
Zach just wants to talk. He's going to yeah. Okay, also though, that's another episode that we should talk about, but we went to a Timbers game.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes I'm like, babe, you need to do that.
No, let's talk soccer next week.
I know, but
that's a great topic.
No, we're not going to talk about soccer next week.
We are going to talk about soccer
We might
next
like
week.
ad-lib about soccer next week, but we're not going to talk about soccer next week.
All right, guys. Well, hey, thanks everyone for joining us.
Thank you guys for listening to our rants about injuries, and make sure you like and subscribe everywhere you listen to podcasts. Make sure you follow us on YouTube and Instagram and all the things.
Yeah.
Do your best.
Forget the rest.